Welcome back, everybody. So we're going to be talking about what's in my bag starting at 2024. If you haven't subscribed and you're returning to the channel, please do so. Just hit that button. I've had a lot of I had to take a break for a while, and I will have to take another little break, but I'm trying to get as much disc golf content out there as I can in my short little window. So I just want to thank everybody for watching. And I want to shout out to QOTED, don't know how to say that. She or he, one of the two, I'm not sure, commented on my last video about my hands being dry because in the wintertime they just stay dry, and I've been putting lotion on them more frequently when I get a shower before I go to bed. Just when I remember, I'm like, hey, I need to put some lotion on my hands, and it's definitely helping. So I'll put what kind of lotion I'm using right here, and I know other people in the comments said let me know if you find something that works because their hands are dry too. So anyways, we're gonna get straight into it. So I got a couple putters. Got two links right here. This is my more beat-in seasoned one that I use mainly for putting. This is a backup, but they're Exo Soft links. I also have a throwing putter. It's a link. This putter, when I throw it, it's gonna generally go pretty straight, hold that line. It's definitely gonna have some glide to it, and it will have a slight finish to it. If you watch my other video with my Axiom and MVP discs that pretty much stay in my bag, you'll see the glitch. Everyone pretty much knows what a glitch does. Ton of glide. It's actually gonna flip up. It probably has a little bit of turn to it. Either that or it'll go dead straight. Proxy is pretty much very similar to that. I can get a little more distance out of a proxy, but this is a straight shooter. May have a little bit of turn at the very end. Just depends on what angle I put it on. Then we have an MV. Everyone knows what an MV is, but I love this disc. This disc, I can rip on it really hard. I can trust it that it's gonna fight out of it. It'll push straight, have a nice finish to it. I could probably do a little bit of a flex line on it. This is a Discmania Color Glow P3X, and it essentially is gonna fly very similar to this. This actually has a little bit more stability at the end of the flight. I can rip on it and it will push straight. I can definitely get some flexes out of it, and towards the end of the flight it just wants to dump a little faster. So those are all my throwing putters. My approach, forehanded, I usually mainly use these for forehands, but I do use them for backhands occasionally. This is a Crystal Sparkle Z Zone. This one's a little bit more straight. It's definitely more stable, but it's definitely more straight than my Toro. Toro right here is pretty beefy. So this one is gonna have a lot more stability to it. If I forehand it, it's gonna want to come out of it. So I can definitely trust this in more headwind situations. Now we'll get into the mid-ranges. I carry a lot of mid-ranges because I love them. This is a Mindbender. I've actually had this disc for a while. And it is definitely more flippy than most MD1s. This thing wants to flip and turn and hold that turn. It's almost more like an Origin, but it definitely wants to finish more to the right than it does. It's either gonna finish straight or finish to the right. Here's a Horizon MD1. This is just a straight shooter. This thing just goes dead straight. I've got 3 hexes. If you watch my other video, you know this hex is a fission hex. It's definitely gonna have more turn to it. It's gonna be a straight shooter. Definitely a disc I would throw in the tailwind, but it's gonna be a little bit less stable than this Lazadal. This Lazadal is a good straight shooter, has a slight finish to the left. I can trust this. This is probably one of my favorite mid-ranges in my bag. Another one, I just recently got this one. This is another Lazadal, but it's a Halloween edition, and it's more stable than the other two. This one's gonna fly probably more like a MD3, like a brand new C-Line MD3. It's definitely gonna wanna finish to the left. It'll go straight for a little bit, but it wants to go left. And what I'm talking about, they're talking about backhanding these, by the way. All right, here's a Color Glow MD3. This is gonna fly real similar to that last hex I showed, but this one actually may be slightly more stable. And then my last mid-range is a Pyro. This is gonna be my most stable mid-range. It's gonna be like a Malta. I can really trust to throw this into a headwind. It's definitely gonna fight at it, always finish last. So there's my mid-ranges. Fairway drivers, got a few. Got the Crave, this is probably my least stable fairway driver in my bag. Great hyzer flip disc. Also, it's a good disc that tunnel shots, flip it on a hyzer. It's a great disc. I don't know what else to say about it, but it's a great disc. Here's an Instinct. Recently just got this, and I don't know what it is about this plastic or this specific disc, but this thing flies super straight, always has a finish on it. It's a great disc. I really have come pretty fond to it. So this disc, if you watched my last video, I did not have this disc in the bag at that time. And I was at home looking around and I was like, why do I not have this disc in my bag? I love this disc. This disc, I've beat in. I threw it a lot last year. I had it in my bag for most of the year. I don't know why I took it out. I think what I had done is taken it out, and I had a PD that I thought would fly similar to it, and it never did. So I ended up putting it back in the bag. But it is this Tesla. And for whatever reason, this Tesla is a little bit more flippy than other Teslas I've tried, and I just love this thing. I can rip on it and it will go super straight. It'll definitely have some turn to it with a nice finish to it. It's just a great disc, and it's very trustworthy. So these I pretty much forehand these. This one isn't as quite as stable as these, and this is a Color FD3. I do this backhand into headwinds, but I also can put this on a little forehand line, and it's going to go more straight. It's not going to be as overstable as these other two, but this is just a good little disc in my bag that kind of fits between the Instinct and what I'm about to show you next. I recently just got this one. This is like a slower Raptor or slower Firebird, and I've kind of become pretty fond to it. It's definitely a stable little guy, but it's a resistor, and it's good for like 200, 225 foot shots. I could probably get out to 250, 300 if I really flex it and try to get it out there, but I use this more for like a touchy forehand. It's kind of like a good little utility disc, but I like it. It's a good disc. It's just a slower fairway, overstable fairway driver. This is my trusty, handy dandy Crystal Sparkle Raptor. I've had this in my bag for 2.5 years, seems like forever. I trust it. I know exactly what it's going to do. This is really my go-to forehand disc for just about any hole that I want to throw a forehand on, unless it's designed a little bit different, but generally speaking, I'm grabbing this one if I'm going to throw a forehand on 350 in. I'm grabbing this disc. I got two PDs. I got a S-Line PD. This one goes pretty straight, definitely has some stability to it. I can get a little flex line on this one, but it's just a good disc. And this one flies really similar to this. This actually may be slightly less stable. This is neoplastic, this is S-Line. So, two PDs. I really like PDs. They're very good discs. I can trust them to always finish, and I like that as some of my discs. This to me is like a more stable Teslas. So I like to have these options in my bag. Okay, last four are versions of DD3s. This is a Golden Horizon Cloudbreaker. This thing's pretty stable. I'm gonna use this for forehands, backhands into headwinds, but mainly forehands. This is my forehand distance driver that I usually throw. Then I got three basically DD3s. Here's a Color Glow DD3. This one's pretty flippy, but it's a good bomber disc. It's gonna get a nice turn to it, nice finish to it. It's just a good long distance driver to have in my bag. And this is about the same. This is a S-Line DD3, and it flies just about like that one. I kind of just have two in my bag really for a backup. That's really what it's there for. But they fly very similar. This one is a Crater Series Cloudbreaker. It's actually brand new. I've had several of these in my bag, and I didn't like, I'm weird, but I didn't like the colors of the other ones, so I finally found one that I was like, hey, I like that color. I don't have a disc in my bag that really fits this color, so, but hopefully it flies similar to the other ones, and I can really get some big distance out of it. So that is all that's in my bag. I want to thank you guys for watching, and These are probably what's gonna stay in my bag. I don't see myself pulling any of these out or switching anything out for a while. So I wanna thank you guys all for watching. Once again, I just wanna say thanks for the support, everybody watching the channel. If you're coming back and you're continuing to watch it, just subscribe. That would be awesome. I appreciate everybody that has subscribed. Until I catch you in the next one, go in peace and be blessed.